Welcome to our October show, which is a special one about all the heroes in our lives, big and little. I'm Hal Hollingsworth.
And I'm Taylor Hitchcock. Most of you remember the Lift Up from Children's Mercy that we aired on our last show. We now want to fill you in on a little bit more about the background story of their complicated lives. These two brave girls overcame their darkest time in their lives and turned it into the greatest bonds of their lives.
You come find me, okay? 1, 2, oh. Do not go there. Okay, 1, 2.
This is Sophie and Katie. They're playing games that we all remember playing as kids, but it's pretty obvious that their friendship started a little bit differently than most of ours. Let's take a look at where it all began.
15. Ready?
Katie slipped and fell in the shower upstairs, and we took her to the emergency room. They found some shaded spots in the x-rays that they were concerned with, and they called me a week later to tell me that she had cancer.
10:53 a.m., December 5th, I get a call. She point blank says, "We have a bed ready for your daughter. We believe she has leukemia, and you need to get her here within the hour."
I was extremely devastated. I didn't want my baby to die. I couldn't understand why God would give her to me and want to take her away.
Not being able to kiss the boo-boo and make it better like, you know, I had always been able to in the past was very, very difficult.
Though these two families were strangers at the time, they were about to be united with one simple question.
I was glad she asked me if I would be her friend. Said I, "Will you be my friend?" She said, "Yeah." She would know I would say yes.
And with that yes, Katie and Sophie learned what true friendship looks like before most of us were even riding our bikes.
She held my hand when I was getting my feeding tube.
One of the sweetest moments that I have ever encountered between the two girls. Sophie was in our room playing with Katie, and the nurses came to get her to let her know it was time, and she held Sophie's hand during the whole procedure so that they could get through it together.
When you meet someone that is going through the same thing and you're there together, I mean, it's invaluable to have that friend because they understand and they're the same.
You know, the losing of their hair, I'm sure, was uncomfortable for them.
That poor cold head.
They may have lost their hair, but they sure didn't lose their sense of humor.
What is something I don't like about you? What? You have more hair than me. You can say more hair too.
And despite everything that's happened, they chose to look at the brighter side of things.
She's so kind to people, so super kind to people. When she sees people who look sick or are in a wheelchair or elderly, she's very big to go and say something nice, give a little pat, a big smile.
She'll be able to accomplish anything in life with ease.
That baby would get up every day with a smile on her face, even when she didn't feel good. And she's so darn cute, so that makes it even better.
I love Katie. More than this. To the moon and back. To the moon and back. And the whole Atlantic Ocean. And the ocean.
She's absolutely a hero, my hero every day. Every day.
Reporting for Wolfbite TV, this is Elise Pierce and Taylor Hitchcock.
That's you, that's me. Oh.
It's always amazing to see people who have fought cancer and won. Something that only our school participates in is Hoots for Hope, which is a charity basketball tournament. So round up a few friends, create a team, and you could help out kids just like Katie and Sophie.
They're truly amazing. Many of us may not realize that we have a hero or two a lot closer than you think.
Someone literally just around the corner from us is a person who can help us even in our darkest times.
Did you know that the counseling department is here for more reasons than to just change your schedule?
No.
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 No, I didn't.
Really? I don't think that's true, man.
I sort of had an idea that they'd be there. I didn't realize to what extent it would be.
Hidden in the back of Office 131 is one of Southwest's many hidden gems.
Sometimes you just need a break. Like, let me go sit somewhere and not feel weird for 10 minutes. Okay, you can come do that in here.
If you know what a counselor is, you know that they're supposed to like help you out through like whatever you're going through, school stuff and like outside of that. And I feel like Miss Dixon would be the one to go to.
When Southwest opened, actually before Southwest opened, Mr. Halfman and Mr. Holt and I got together. One thing we all quickly decided on was we want to be here for kids. I like to be able to be that person that lets you breathe a little bit and answers your questions that you're too embarrassed to ask anyplace else.
Everybody has something that they would like to talk to somebody about, but many people tend to hold it in. On April 13th, 2014, junior Paige Boomer experienced a traumatic event that forever changed her life.
We pulled into the parking lot and at JCC, and I heard a firework.
On that same day, 73-year-old Fraser Glenn Miller traveled to the Overland Park Jewish Community Center with his gun in hand.
I saw him shoot 2 people. Then I remember looking up before we left, and I saw his body on the ground, and there was blood all around his head. And I thought, this can't be real, because this is what happens in movies.
When you witness something as tragic as that, it's not something you can usually keep to yourself.
Being able to go to Miss Dixon, and I appreciate when people just listen, and she did that. She listened.
If something unfortunate happens, then you have your time to be sad about it. You're going to manage it the best you can, and then we're going to move on.
Some students don't know who Miss Dixon is, while others are greatly affected by her. She really deserves a thank you.
I love you, Miss Dixon.
Miss Dixon, you're the best. I love you.
We love you, Miss Dixon.
I love Miss Dixon because she is my hero.
Thanks, Miss Dixon, for always putting a smile on my face.
Miss Dixon just makes my day so much brighter.
Thank you so much for being so awesome.
Thank you for always having my back.
We love you, Miss Dixon!
From Wolfbite TV, this is Shay Ellis and Hal Hollingsworth.
Mrs. Dixon and all our amazing counselors are just a doorway. Please go talk to them whenever you are having a tough time in your life, and always talk to someone when you feel like you've reached a point when you don't know what to do.
We're so lucky to have such amazing counselors at our school. Another type of counselor that we have is our very own Mr. Parks, who deals out his own kind of wisdom.
Hello, Southwest. Most of you know me as Mr. Parks. You also know me as the bringer of peace.
Fight, 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 fight!
The bringer of joy into the world, and also the huggingest teacher at Blue Valley Southwest.
They call this a neck hug.
Most of our current freshmen do not know my dark side. I do have a dark side, and it's called Parks is Peeved. There are just things that throughout the day mess with efficiency here at Southwest, and they get me pretty upset, and I have to deal with things my way. The first thing, freshmen, that we currently have a problem with is the pace at which we walk in the hallway. For some reason, they've trained you to shuffle your feet, head down, have giant backpack, and move like cattle. All right? At some point, I've got to go somewhere, and I need to be somewhere, and I can't have a group of like cattle roaming in front of me. What are you going to do when I get out of cattle prod and I move traffic just a little bit faster? Freshmen, the second thing that the student body would like me to address is this current state of affairs outside the lunchroom where you throw your backpacks on the ground. They put those little dividers there, those little ropes, so you'll go around them and form a line like a normal human being. What seems to be happening, we have some guys that think they're just going to duck under the rope. What are you going to do when I eject you from the lunchroom with extreme prejudice? And the last thing that freshmen that we need a little bit of etiquette on is, why are we always running around screaming the name of their friend from the previous class you just saw an hour ago? And bro-hugging him, bro-fiving him, touching and yelling each other's names in an awkward stage of just annoyance? There is a proper way, all right, to acknowledge someone, all right? I want to institute the sup around here. We just give them the sup, S-U-P, sup. You got me peeved. I am upset, but I'll calm down, and I'll go back to hugging America just like the old days. It's not grabbing around the camera, and I come running in. I don't even know if that's street legal. Like, I'm not even sure as a teacher if I'm supposed to comment on that or send you to a counselor. I think I'm supposed to send him to a counselor.
A class at Southwest has recently taken a new look at how to use social media for the better.
Let's take a look on a more productive way to use our phone.
A lot of teachers here at Southwest would agree that social media is just a convenient avenue for bullying. But what if with every favorite, like, or share, you're really helping someone else without even knowing it?
Contest that we're having to raise money for this. Instead of trying to look at and see what teenagers are doing as a negative thing necessarily, I know it can be used for positive.
In room 208, Mr. Pendleton's sociology class has decided to take a new twist on Twitter and slide something a little more positive into your newsfeed.
It's really exciting, something different to use social media for.
Pendleton's 4th hour class broke into groups, creating different social media accounts to help raise money for their chosen charity.
You know, we can have a bigger impact, not just on the economic dollars and the use of social media, but just understanding that as a community we have some responsibilities to help other people in times of need.
And right now, that need is higher than any ratio on Twitter.
I don't think a lot of people are really aware.
What you may not know is that these charities' location updates are not that far from our school, like the Noah's Ark of all shelters, Wayside Waifs.
We are all funded through donations from the community. We have individual fundraisers, we've got companies, organizations, schools, everything. It all directly impacts the animals and the care that we provide.
And that care has no limiting leash to it. Every penny raised goes towards an endless list of needs at the shelter.
The food that we provide them, medical costs, every animal is spayed and neutered, fully vaccinated when they come through and before they get adopted. That money directly goes to help those animals get better.
Life is always rough. In this dog-eat-dog world, every single bit of support at the Waifs really goes a long way.
It just completely helps them to be happier here and healthier and help us provide a complete circle of care for the Waifs.
We're all being heroes to our charities and these different organizations, but we're being heroes to the puppies.
So the next time you're refreshing your newsfeed, think about how our generation's favorite thing can help make a bigger impact on man's best friend. Reporting for Wolfbite TV, this is Zach Keeling and Caroline McFeeters.
Deep within this class project is a much bigger story to do with a disease called Huntington's. Huntington's disease is a neurodegenerative genetic disorder that has to do with the muscles and later leads to mental decline. Even in the darkest points of this disease, we found a positive love story.
We've all sat around the dinner table listening to Grandma and Grandpa go on and on about how they fell in love. Here's a typical beginning to a love story, but a not so typical ending.
Well, I was only 15, she was 16.
She was driving a cherry red convertible. My grandpa actually saw her car at the grocery store, and he left a little note saying, "Hey, my name's Jerry."
I was a grocery sacker, and she came in and flirted with me.
They fell in love, and they've been together ever since, and it was always super obvious that he loved her.
Well, we just started dating at 15, and then we ended up getting married at 18 and 19 after I graduated from high school. We were about 10 days short of 47 years. Yeah, seems like a long time, but it went just like that.
The reason this love story was cut short was because of a terrible disease called Huntington's disease that has taken away so many loved ones.
I had a wife that died. I got 2 daughters that could possibly have it, and 5 or 6 grandkids.
Everyone in my family is going to get Huntington's. All my aunts and uncles and cousins. My mother passed away from Huntington's.
Every one of my ancestors that have been diagnosed with Huntington's have got it and died from it, so I've kind of watched it happen.
Though this disease has had many victims, this fearless, bold teen has decided to make a difference by starting a donation site to benefit research for the disease.
Hope for Huntington started out in Mr. Pendleton's 4th hour sociology class. Basically what he wanted to do was start a group project for all of us to use social media in a good way. So it's more than just a project for me, it's kind of my life, because not only will that awareness help so many people in the world with Huntington's disease, but it'll also directly help me and my family.
After losing such a valuable member of their family, they still managed to look at the brighter side of the situation.
Even after seeing her kind of become a vegetable because of Huntington's, he would always hold her hand and fall asleep next to her. And he would always kind of like take care of her. And so that's something that, like, if I ever get the disease, I really want to find. Because I like want to have someone to take care of me, and I think that's something that stresses me out a whole bunch, finding someone who cares about me as much as my grandpa.
My mom tried to show us that even though Huntington's might be a bad thing, it's good just to enjoy life every day that you have it.
Please support the Hope for Huntington's page by liking them on Facebook, following on Twitter at Hope4HD, and donating at the link located on the Twitter page. With your help, this story could have a much happier ending. Reporting for Wolfbite TV, this is Abby Morrow and Alex Riley.
It's so cool that students at our school are putting forth the effort to help foundations such as HDSA and animal shelters like Wayside Wastes. There's no reason not to use your phone to be a hero to more people and pets than you realize.
Other big news from the Kansas City area is our super awesome Major League Baseball team. We decided to find out how serious you Royals fans really are.
If you haven't already hopped on this bandwagon, you wouldn't be considered mainstream. You might even be considered hipster.
Hey Southwest, as you've heard, the Royals made the playoffs this year, and we've noticed fans are popping up out of nowhere, and we decided to have a little fun with that. We're here to see where the true fans at. Would you consider yourself a huge Royals fan?
Of course I am.
Yes.
No, not really.
You're wearing a Royals t-shirt.
Yeah, I am.
What is your opinion on Eric Hosmer getting traded to Seattle for John Wall?
John Wall?
When did that come about? He's not going to be traded.
It was just recently.
I don't always agree with it, but I guess everyone's got to move on to bigger and better things.
John Wall doesn't play for Seattle. He plays basketball in Washington, D.C.
But what is your opinion of the Royals going to fire Ned Yost if the Royals don't win the World Series and hire Charles Barkley?
Terrible.
I'm down with that. I like that.
That'd be terrible. Very terrible.
Would you consider yourself a pretty big Royals fan?
Most definitely.
Do you know who the Royals manager is?
No.
It's Ned Yost. And what year did the Royals first go to the World Series?
64?
I have no idea.
69?
First, they've only been there once in 1985, so
I don't know.
1980.
Do you know what sparked the comeback victory over the Cardinals in the 1985 World Series?
They wanted to win.
No.
Bo Jackson. He did. Yep.
The blown call at first base that Don Deckinger made.
Hey, do you want to go thrifting later?
Did you get our Coachella tickets?
Check out this new hammock I bought online. I was just listening to Pink Floyd's new album, and it's like I don't even know him anymore. Are they gluten-free?
Have you heard Bon Iver's new album?
Bro, it's Bon Iver.
Coffee's overrated. I only drink tea now.
Like, I feel music, you know what I mean?
It's totally going on my blog.
I do a medium iced half vanilla soy, upside down dirty chai with Splenda.
Yeah, man. The 1975, I listened to them when they were just the 1974. Bro, is that vintage? What would you even call this color? Dude, I am so blogging about this place.
Is it organic?
I don't know, I'd say I'm kind of into like a post-current experimental treble funk kind of music. Hey man, you follow me on Tumblr?
Nah, I use MySpace now.
Me? Nah, I'm not a hipster.
I'm not a hipster, dude.
I'm not a hipster.
A true hipster will never admit it.
True. This next story is a great way to help parents get a night off. Most of you don't know what it's like to have a brother or sister with special needs, but those who do know that a break from home can be just what the doctor ordered.
A growing group has found a way to be heroes to not only these kids, but to the parents of the kids.
SOAR Special Needs Ministries operates at Grace Church every other month. It provides families with special needs children a well-deserved 3-hour break.
My favorite part about it is just getting to communicate with people like Nora, 'cause she's awesome, and just having a good night.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Nora.
Being a parent of a child with special needs is such a tough job. It's constant, it's 24/7, they never get a break.
Doc and his wife, Kay, are blessed with 3 children. Luke is the oldest, Sarah the youngest, and Mark, the middle child that forever altered their appreciation and perspective for parents with children with special needs. Mark was born with Dravet syndrome, a rare genetic seizure disorder. He had autism as well. But at the age of 5.5, all of that changed.
He was cured of all that almost 4 years ago now when he was born into heaven.
This heartbreaking tragedy inspired Doc to spread his message and help other families that endure the hardships of special needs children.
It's great. It's really helped our marriage. It's just nice to know that we have that time.
Every kid is different and they're all really neat. They have different characteristics that make them who they are.
We wouldn't have it any other way, really. He is who he is, and that has brought us different relationships come into our lives that we would never have known.
Since beginning SOAR, Doc has spread the Kansas City Special Needs Ministry network to over 35 churches. It has been regarded as a huge success. To Doc, parents, volunteers, and Mark.
We're so grateful to have SOAR and Grace Church and having other parents talk about what they have experienced.
I would rather come here and hang out with someone and know that I'm changing their life.
It's fun.
Just come out and do it.
And it's helpful. And it's a good feeling.
It's a great way to spend Friday nights.
For Wolfbite TV, this is Mads Kerrigan and Brianna Cox.
See you later, alligator!
I bet those parents appreciate the helpers more than they realize. You too can get involved in this program every Friday night. Contact Emily Dixon or Kyle Cram to get involved.
Helping others can be extremely beneficial. I can't imagine a better way to spend a Friday night.
I agree. Helping others is a great thing to do. And before long, you too can be someone else's hero. Having inspirational people in our lives is so important because without them, we have very few people to look up to. But with them, they can help us reach our full potential.
Well, T-Wolves, it's that sad time of the day, the end of the show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at WolfBiteTV and watch past shows on bvswnews.com. Be sure to tune in to our next show on November 13th.
Until then, stay fabulous.
See you later, T-Wolves.